All right, all right. This is my Legally Blind Journal number 44, believe it or not. And yeah, so just going to jump right in. Worked pretty hard to try and hold to the brakes properly using an egg timer, a physical egg timer. And, um, it helped. It's not by any means 100% solution or anything like that, but um, it helped with the migraine progression to try and do that. I've been running the alarms on the phone and all that, but it's just too easy to turn those off and then stay in the zone and completely, forget about it and then spiral out with the migraine. So I got the physical egg timer going, and you have to physically turn the dial to add more time to it and whatnot, and have it sitting on top of the keyboard when I go to take a break. So it's very very in your face, and I will say that I had less occurrences this week of the migraines and or less severity. It wasn't perfect, but it's something. And I'm still waiting on those glasses to come in. Probably be weeks on that. That's not unusual. But that said, um, who knows? Maybe adding those in will make a big difference. Plus, making sure I'm taking the breaks and whatnot, which would be good. I measured all my vision this morning. The reading hasn't shifted again, so that's good. Um, if it does, we'll live with it. But it's been a while, and it's been sitting like this for a while, so that's good. The peripheral vision also hasn't shifted. So while it's not great, at least it's not going declining right now. And again, we'll deal with that if it happens. And, well, if is the wrong word, according to what they tell me when it happens. But hey, at least it's holding right now. And all the counselors say the reduction of stress, while there's not big studies or anything. Um, they all believe it's directly related to the progression and things like that, and also the amount of push and whatnot you do on them, how much I'm stressing them, the eyes themselves, the workload, if you will, is directly related. So in my personal life, I take measures to work through that. For instance, I'm trying to work on building the dog fence right now. Um, and instead of reading tape measures, I laid out a piece of plastic chain, 8 feet long, cut it, and that's what I use to figure out what's 8 feet between posts. I've got another one, that's 54 inches, and that's how I know the height of the post. I hold out this plastic chain and bounce it, and I can tell where it is, obviously on the ground that way, and drag it between two, and it takes about 4 times longer than it normally would to build one, and the measurements aren't quite perfect doing it that way, but you know what? It's okay. It's a farm fence, on a farm. So if it's a little off here and there, functional is what I'm aiming for. And it goes back to that, thing I keep saying. You got to find new ways to do old things. It also sometimes means you've got to adjust and give yourself grace. Uh, you know, I made a mistake on the fence that it's going to put me back about 2 weeks waiting on a delivery now for some material because this exact conversation. When I was fully set I would have pulled a tape a couple of times and read it, and it probably wouldn't have happened in all likelihood. Um, but it is what it is. You got to give yourself some grace on these things and just some patience. Um, Working on building a chicken coop, and look, the thing is not 100% completely square. Um, it's not out by feet, but it's certainly not square. And I got to the point where on the back corner I was off. I was probably off like 5 inches. Like it's not great, but I'll make adjustments and as I go forward, and it's not going to be the end of the world. That said, so will the chicken coop get built? Yeah. Will it be functional? Absolutely. Will it be absolutely perfectly square if somebody puts a speed square to it or whatever? No, it's going to be off. You know what? The first chicken that complains, I'll eat it. That's okay. Pretty sure they're not going to complain. And that's the level of grace you got to give yourself. And that's hard. And I'll tell you, for anybody out there struggling with this, the struggle is real. And you got to acknowledge that. I've got to keep reminding myself to not only give that grace to others, but to give it to myself, and that patience. And I've always been a go, get her done person. And, sometimes I have to take a little more with it. And there are things that are going to happen. For instance, I had another issue with a big box store. I won't name names. They are blue in color. But it took an hour and a half to get it resolved because I have to do it all through the phone without, bothering my spouse to drive me down and stand in front of people forever and all this mess. And I'd handled it better this time than I did last time. While it was frustrating, I wasn't angered, I should say. I didn't raise my voice or lose my temper or say anything I shouldn't. I was very polite to everybody I spoke to, even though it was ridiculous. And, because I kept reminding myself that while, yes, the issue that I was having with the store shouldn't be an issue, I was probably more frustrated with the fact that when I was fully sighted, I'd have jumped in the truck, ran down to the store, grabbed what I needed off the shelf, thrown it in the back, and been back to the job I had hand in, an hour. Whereas, since I have to rely on their delivery, now, it's going to be 2 weeks almost now, and this is the chicken coop side. I came up short on some boards. I had an order coming anyway, so I went basically had them add the additional to that original order, which turned into a big fiasco, which I won't get into. But needless to say, I kept my cool. I was polite, even though it was not a good experience. And I, self-assessing the whole way of why am I so frustrated? Is it really the situation? And yeah, part of it was, but not the entire thing. I mean, the bigger part was it's really the frustration of I can't just jump in the truck and go handle this. That is annoying. And so recognizing that in whatever your situation is, recognizing your side of the situations that are could potentially be making you upset might help to give grace on both sides, because there's probably some more to it than just whatever's in front of you on the problem. And so I came out of that. It got resolved. I had my cool, kept my cool the whole time. And, at the end of the day, recognizing what was probably adding gas to a fire, which is the fact that I just can't go do it and it's frustrating, helped this time. And I don't like being in that situation, but I'm not going to say that them having those issues and not really handling it well wasn't actually a positive for me, because I got to practice and put into practice, I should say, that self-evaluation step that I thought about after the last incidents that had happened. And, unless you're confronted with situations, you don't get better at them. So, in a way, I'm glad that happened. And do I like the fact that the chicken coop floor isn't 100% square on the subfloor? No, I don't like that. My old self would have. Oh, I'd have been upset about it. But you know what? The chickens aren't going to complain. So then it's going to be very structurally sound. Way over structurally engineered. So, what's the problem? Got to get there. And I will say that avoiding staring at tape measurements, doing a lot of things by just putting two boards together and drawing a line may not be as accurate. Obviously isn't. However, walking away from hours on that project and not having a migraine, worth it. It can be a little out of square, as long as I can still make the goat house or the chicken house or the pasture fence line. If it's a little out, I don't care, as long as it's functional and I don't walk away with a massive migraine. I'm gonna count that as a win. And I think that's part of what we have to do is we're dealing with this type of a transition from being having full visual acuity, from being fully sighted to whatever level of blindness you're on, wherever you're at in that journey, is realizing that it's okay to adjust to the situation. It's okay to give grace, and maybe that thing that used to be a certain way is now done, but it's just not that certain way anymore. It's okay. And that's a hard place to get to, is just the acceptance of that it's okay. It's all good. In the grand scheme of things, 100 years from now, 20 years from now, who knows, 5 years from now, God knows, I don't know. That chicken coop's not going to be standing there. So what does it really matter if it's out of square a little bit? As long as it holds the chickens and they're happy and I'm happy, moving on. And that's kind of where you got to get to, I think, because it's a peaceful place to be. So I'm working on trying to get there with my work side, hoping to with the glasses that come in, hoping they help cross over that hurdle of the migraines. Going to continue to use that egg timer and try and force myself to take the breaks and to remember that it's okay, that I can't be all things to all people. I can't be, I can't do 18 hours a day to make it look like it happened in 8, I just can't do it. And that's okay. And it probably isn't something anybody should be doing anyway, quite frankly. But the fact that you can't is frustrating. The fact that you don't have the choice is frustrating. And that's, acknowledge that. It's okay that it's frustrating. But don't let it become the main theme. Acknowledge it, breathe in, breathe out, give yourself grace, and roll on. And that's really the big thing. And that's what I'm still working on. I'm not saying I'm there. Man, this is a daily deal. It's a daily struggle. But hey, you got to keep on keeping on. You got to keep a smile on, because anything else is just simply not going to get you there. Bottom line. So, on that note, I'm going to keep practicing with the migraine reduction steps that I'm trying to do for work stuff. And on the farm side, I'm going to keep trying to remember to keep my fingers out of places they shouldn't be. I definitely got some blood blisters and stuff from this project, and I'm learning, hey, I used to do it that way when I was sighted. Now I need to do it different. And keep wearing my steel toe boots and, keep on keeping on. And I hope that everybody out there that's dealing with things, whether it be sight loss or something else, just remembers your positivity, your attitude, the way you approach whatever you're dealing with. That's huge. That is massive. And for me, my anchor with my faith in God, which wasn't always there in my life, It's absolutely been a game changer. And so hopefully you have something in your life that you can really, really strive for, but also understand that you're going to have to do it different in all likelihood, and that's okay. Be good with it. And remember, some days you're going to forget this. And then you got to remember. And then give yourself grace for having forgotten and gotten upset or frustrated or whatever the problem was. So, all right. Well, I guess until next time, y'all be good out there. Peace.